What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm reviewing set 75256 Kylo Ren's Shuttle with 1005 pieces and originally retailed for $130. I'm reviewing this set for two reasons: the new Kylo Ren helmet as well as a mid-scale Kylo Ren Shuttle, which is of course not the episode 7 one, but the episode 9 Kylo Ren Shuttle, which is of course this model. There's obviously a whole lot to go into, so I'll start with the minifigures. I'll start with the most basic one, which is this First Order Stormtrooper, I guess, and this is pretty normal. You get in a bunch of sets, so it won't take too long to decide, but it is actually a pretty good figure. It is extremely accurate. It doesn't have like the most detailed printing, but I do think it is a good figure overall. But it also comes with a way better figure, which is of course the Sith Trooper, which also comes in some other sets, but of course this one looks like a lot better than the other one, and I wish it would have came with two Sith Troopers instead of one regular First Order Trooper, because I feel like that's kind of useless now, because in episode 9 all of them are just Sith Troopers. I really like the red, and I love how LEGO actually made this, as well as the blaster. It's actually different than the regular First Order Trooper, so that's a lot more detail that they added. It may not be a completely new piece, but again, a lot more detail, so that's very, very cool. And they did do a lot of cool printing. I really like how the red looks. I'm not a big fan of episode 9, but this figure is actually really, really nice. Next, we have a lesser known general from episode 9, of course, General Pride here. He has sort of like a metallic-ish gray torso and legs. Not too much printing, but I still think it is pretty good. He does come with a short blaster as well as a double face print. I prefer this one that is currently on his face right now. Then you can switch it back and you get this other motion. I don't really know how to describe it, honestly, but it's cool just to have that. And of course, he has the grayish hair. There's not too much to talk about. It is a cool figure, and I'm glad they included it in it, but I would have preferred like a General Hux or something else, a little bit more like non First Order, because it would have been better to have like Rey figure or something else to sort of like change up the speed of the set. But I'd probably rather have that substitute with the regular First Order Trooper. But next we have one of the Knights of Ren. I believe this one is called. I believe there's 6 Knights of Ren, and I don't have the box, so I can't really see which one exactly it is. And I believe this one is the most accurate here, and I feel like it would have been a lot better. This isn't a specific critique on the set, but for all episode 9 sets, they could have spread out each Knight of Ren in a different set. I know there has been 6, and there's like 2 in this one, for example, but it would have been really cool to actually have it 1 in each set, so it sort of been like a collectible thing, because LEGO does really good with those like multiple sets spread out over one wave, trying to like collect all the sets and of course get all the Knights of Ren. I feel like that could be a really cool thing, but of course LEGO missed out on that. But for the actual figure, it comes with, I believe, an accurate little like weapon here. Most of the Knights of Ren have different weapons, I guess, not just like normal blasters, but they have different like melee weapons, I guess. This one is probably the least cool, if I'm being honest, but it does have some pretty cool printing on the torso and legs. It does have a little bit better printing, actually. No like arm printing or anything like that. And as you can tell, just a regular just completely blacked out face, because you never get to see their faces. And anyway, here is a closer look at the helmet we get here, which I think is pretty accurate. I'm glad they have a new mold. I don't really know how else they would do it, but I do think this is a really cool and nice inclusion to sort of complete out the figure here. So it's really cool that we get 2 Knights of Ren in this, not just 1, because I believe this other one is called Aplec, if I'm right. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this one's really cool because it doesn't come with a completely new like molded helmet, but it does come with a cape. And probably the coolest weapon from all the Knights of Ren, which is this giant like battle axe here. And he does get some nice like robe printing here, nothing too good. He does come with technically a mask on it, but it's sort of just like as the normal head print and not on its own mask, because I think I prefer this way so I can show the detail of the hood, make him stand out a little bit. I really like this one. This one actually might be my favorite Knights of Ren out of like every single one of them, but there's not too much to talk about here. But this is a really, really nice inclusion, and I think a little better than Usher, even though he gets his own mask. I definitely think this one is better as just a Knights of Ren. I think he's a little bit cooler to see in a set. Finally, episode 9 Kylo Ren, or Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, because now, of course, in episode 8, he killed Snoke, so now he is technically the Supreme Leader, as it states on the box. So we do get his cape, of course, which is really nice, as well as his cracked helmet, which of course he destroyed in episode 8, and then he reforged it in episode 9. So that is really cool to get this technically not really custom mold, but custom print on the mold, which I think is really cool, and I like this helmet a lot better. I'm sad they didn't do it for the newer set they'll release in May, Kylo Ren's helmet. They really should have. There was definitely a missed opportunity with the red cracks there. They could have definitely added that. I don't think it would have influenced me to buy it, but it would have looked a lot cooler on display if I got it. Of course, he gets the regular lightsaber, nothing new from episode 7 and 8. It's not the most accurate, so I still would deduct points for that, but I don't really think there's much LEGO can do besides getting a whole new lightsaber mold for the actual hilt of it. But I honestly like how it's just so simple and how they've never changed the actual hilt of the lightsaber. But for Kylo Ren, I think they can make a sacrifice for their clean look. I feel like it would have looked a lot better with the actual accurate dispersion of blades, I guess, because he has one left and right here, so it's not exactly accurate. It's not just straight up blade. There is a little bit of hilt there. It's hard to describe, but it is a cool lightsaber. I wish that LEGO would have included it, but still, I kind of like the simplicity of it. And he does get some normal printing. We've gotten him in a bunch of other sets. He gets a nice cape as well, so there's not much to talk about here, but he does get a double face print, one with him screaming there, and then one with him more calm, which is pretty accurate. That's basically all the motions Kylo Ren even has, so it is really cool to include him, because I guess it is his shuttle, so it's the main figure that you would need to include in this set. Finally, with the minifigures out of the way, we can go into the main point of the set, which is very exciting: Kylo Ren's shuttle. There's a lot of play features in the command shuttle, so I can't really use my phone stand because I want to see every single part, because of course it is a pretty tall model. So I'll just start right into it with the first play feature, I guess. You can just lift up the cockpit here, and then you can see all the space it has. It does have 2 spaces for flick fire missiles, which you can see right there, which will show how you launch once I get to the back of the model. It can fit a decent amount of people. Definitely not all the minifigures, which kind of sucks, but it would definitely have to be a lot more money and a lot more pieces to actually fit all the figures. But you can fit most of the good ones, like Kylo Ren and maybe the Knights of Ren if you actually take off their weapons. But I feel like you can just put them to the side where the spring-loaded shooters will be. And of course, you have these big wings. I have a lot to go over with that. Of course, now it's flat, but when you raise it up, it automatically lowers, which is the coolest play feature ever. But there's actually a little bit of a way to control it. If we actually turn the model around to the back here, one of these engines actually adjusts it, which is this one. You can turn it this way and this way manually, which is a lot cooler if you wanted to make it seem like it's flying while it's landed like that. That's also really cool. And of course, this engine doesn't do anything. I really like how it's actually incorporated into the model, and it's not just a lever sticking out of the back that you have to adjust. So that is actually a really cool feature that it's sort of built into it, and you can control it a little bit more. But that's not the only feature with these wings here. We do have these levers here, which you can detach. It uses this ball joint and these 1x2 clippers, I guess, which is probably one of the worst connection points I've ever seen. It's hard to get it actually together, and it's not even the strongest. These will break after a certain amount of time, so I just like to leave them open like this because it's hard to get out and hard to click in. So it does kind of suck that it has this specific connection point. One of my least favorite, but it still is really cool because you can actually adjust these just by turning a lever here. You can actually turn this back and forth, and you can lock it in down there. And you can have this lower down. Of course, I'll lower down the other wing here. And of course, it is a little bit older model, so you might have to push it a little bit there. And then it should go down a little bit easier to show it completely landed. And then, of course, you can put it straight to lock it. But that's pretty much all the features we get for the wings. It is really cool that we can actually lower it down. Not just for display if you want to show it in the hangar bay. It's also great for transportation if you want to take it somewhere or sell it, which probably I wouldn't, even though for episode 9 it is a really nice set. We do get these blasters in the front here, but they really launch out of here, which again I'll turn it to the back to show you guys how that works, which is right here. And spring-loaded shooters get lost very easy, so but I'll still take the sacrifice and show you how it works. There we go. It almost bounces like right back, so it is really cool. And you got this other side as well. So yeah, those go flying. It's really cool to get some spring-loaded shooters. And they are in a like light or translucent green. So I'm not sure if this green is accurate, though. I think it fires off green bullets if I'm correct. But that is pretty much all the features we get in the Kylo Ren Shuttle, which is really, really a lot. And of course, you got displayability with it. So not only is it playable, it's also displayable, which is really nice. So finally, I looked at the entire model, all the figures and everything. The ship is actually really, really nice. There's not much I would change, but I do not like how these wings are a little bit flat over here. It does tile them off pretty good and adds a lot of detail here, but it does feel like there is something missing on some of these sides, but not too much. It's not that bad. So the shuttle itself is actually really good, but I would prefer them to sub out one of the regular first order troopers for maybe someone like Finn or Rey, or maybe even like the Lando, because he does show up in episode 9. Would have been a lot cool to get someone from the enemy team to like add more playability, I guess, to the set, but it is actually very playable and displayable, so I'm definitely giving a lot of points for that. And I can't critique it because I didn't like the episode 9, because it's actually really accurate for what it is. Of course, Lego didn't make Star Wars, so I can't really critique them for that. But this is a very, very nice set, and I'll probably give it a 9 out of 10, actually. I really like all the play features, and there's not much I can critique about the minifigures. Of course, they all have their flaws, but overall, they are really nice figures, and overall, it is a really nice set. But maybe a little bit too much on the aftermarket, but definitely a nice set to pick up if you ever see it.